To my father, who once kept a seal on his balcony.
Mr Cleghorn's Seal by Judith Kerr. Read by Bill Nighy. Mr Albert Cleghorn was sitting on the balcony outside his flat, watching the sunrise. It was rather a good sunrise, but the pink and orange sky did not cheer him. 7 o'clock in the morning, he thought. What on earth was he going to do with the whole long day ahead? Normally at this time, Mr Cleghorn was already busy in his shop, sending the paperboy off on his round, laying out the day's editions, and selling them along with pipe tobacco and those new-fangled cigarettes to early travellers on their way to the station. Later he'd be rearranging the 12 big jars of different-coloured sweets, ready for when the children came out of school, and chatting with the local ladies who needed a pencil or a notebook or some brown wrapping paper. I should never have sold the shop, thought Mr Cleghorn, even though the people who bought it had paid him a tidy sum. Whatever am I going to do with myself? In the street below, things were beginning to stir. The milkman was leading his horse from house to house, and the postman, looking up and seeing Mr Cleghorn on his balcony, waved and pointed to tell him that he had a letter. When Mr Cleghorn went downstairs to fetch it, he found the janitor arguing with a little middle-aged lady. The lady was holding a cage with a small bird in it, and the janitor was shouting, as usual. "No pets!" shouted the janitor. "You know the rules. No pets in the flats." "Oh, for goodness sake," said the lady. "It's only my sister's canary, and I'm looking after it for a few days." "Well, I shall expect to see it gone by the end of the week," said the janitor, and retreated behind the window of his cubbyhole to watch for any further infringements of the rules. The lady made a funny face at Mr Cleghorn, and he went to pick up his letter. It was from his cousin William. They were having a good summer, wrote William, and what with all the holiday-makers, the fishing business was thriving. So, when was Albert going to come and stay? Included in the letter was a card with a picture of the harbour and the printed words, "Wish you were here." William was always inviting Mr Cleghorn to stay. In the past, he'd never wanted to leave the shop, but now, he thought, why not? It would be better than moping about in his flat with nothing to do. He hurried back upstairs, and suddenly the day ahead was no longer empty. First, he wrote to his cousin, accepting the invitation. Then, he bought a stamp at the post office and posted the letter. Then he got his travelling bag down from the top of the wardrobe and tried to think what to pack. And a few days later, he was sitting in the train, half excited and half wondering what on earth he'd let himself in for. To his relief, William met him at the station, together with his 10-year-old son, Tommy, who addressed Mr Cleghorn as Uncle Albert, and insisted on carrying his bag. Back at the house, they were welcomed by William's wife, with a baby in her arms and 2 little girls who rushed out to greet him with more cries of, "Uncle Albert! Uncle Albert!" and led him into the kitchen where the table was laid for supper. He had brought the children presents, coloured pencils and sweets for the little girls, and a load of comics for Tommy. And they chatted to him and vied with each other to ask him questions, and it was like being back in the shop when the children came out of school, which had been his favourite time. Towards the end of the meal, William said, "I'm busy first thing tomorrow, so, Tommy, why don't you take Uncle Albert to see the pup?" "What pup?" said Mr Cleghorn. "It's a seal pup," said William. "It's still being fed by its mother, but she leaves it on its own while she goes fishing, and Tommy has been watching it." Mr Cleghorn said he'd love to see the pup, and so, the next day, dressed in an old pair of William's gumboots and a waterproof jacket, he took it in turns with Tommy to row across the bay. They did not have to row very far. Half hidden in a small inlet, a sandy rock stuck out of the water.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?